Hello. Hello, Erica.
Hello, teacher. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm fine, thanks.
That's good to know, Erica. Okay, Marcela, are you there?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. And you?
I'm very well, thanks. You were very early today. Huh? Understand?
What?
You were early for the class today, the first one to arrive, huh?
O áudio
or no?
falhou, teacher. O áudio falhou aqui.
You arrived at the class 10 minutes before the class. You were early, okay?
Yes. Eu tô desde 4 horas.
Yeah, now you understood, huh? What? I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. What did you say? Hello, Sheila.
Eu estou desde 4 horas.
Hi, teacher.
I think the internet is still bad. I can't understand you very well. The sound is woo, 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 woo. Hello, Sheila. Are you okay?
Hi, teacher. Não? Não tá me ouvindo?
Teacher, you are mute.
Hello, I'm back. Are you guys listening to me?
Now, yes.
Yes.
Are you listening to me or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes. Now it's okay.
Well, I think we are still having problems with the internet. Are you listening to me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. As you can see, we are having serious problems with the internet here, okay?
Okay. No problem.
So I hope I can finish the class. Yesterday, I could not even start. Let me try to switch to another internet here. Okay. Can you see me and can you listen to me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Very good. So I better start the class before I lose the connection again. And first of all, I'd like to apologize for not being able to give you the class yesterday, but it was not my fault. I was here, but the internet was not, okay? So
Okay.
anyway, as I told you the day before yesterday, today is probably the most important class. I really want you to pay attention. If you don't understand, please ask me, because it's essential that you understand what we are going to talk about today. All right?
All right.
Okay, so let me share my screen and we can start the class. Can you see there?
Yes.
Excellent. So what are we going to talk about today? Probably one of the topics that confuses most Brazilians. And the confusion is made because the Brazilians always think in Portuguese when they want to say something in English. And then they end up not using the correct tense when they are supposed to. Understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So what we are going to talk about today is the difference, and the extremely important difference between the simple past that we have already studied and the present perfect. Okay? So let me see if I can find a place to put, okay, here. It's possible to put here, here, okay. So pay attention, please. And if you don't understand, just scream, send me a message, whatever you want, okay? But I really want you to pay attention to the class today. Oh, comparison between the simple past and the present perfect. When do we use the simple past? Erika, can you read this for us, please?
It should be used to talk about completed actions that happened at some definite time in the past. Also, it is used to describe historical events. Remember to use it when you remember the time of the action. If you don't want to mention the time, or you don't remember it, don't use the simple past, but the present perfect. The simple past usually refers to a single action.
Okay, let's try to understand this. And hello, Ronaldo, how are you?
Hello, teacher. Good. Thank you.
Okay. Pay attention because today's class is extremely important, okay? Usually the people that can understand and use this correctly, they can, let's say, improve their English a lot, okay? So let me ask the oldest student I have in this class. Who is the oldest student in this class, Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Oh, teacher, I
You
don't.
see? You see? Ah!
Change the como é que chama de
No, you see,
não,
you,
agora
oh, it was very easy to get the answer, okay? You are the oldest. So let
Deus.
me ask you an important question, Ronaldo. When you think about the past, when you think about an experience you had in the past, an experience, visiting a museum, reading a book, watching a movie, okay? Do you always remember the action and the time of the action, or many times you only remember the experience, the action?
I remember the experience.
Yes, that's the same case with me. I'm also old, understand? So when we start getting old, we remember many things, but we don't remember the time. For example, if you start talking about the Louvre Museum in Paris, I can say, oh, yes, I know.
I know, yeah.
I remember seeing the Mona Lisa. I remember seeing all the paintings that are on exhibit there. If you mention for example, the Guggenheim Museum in New York or the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, Spain, I remember. If you mention, yes, if you mention the Cairo Museum, I remember. If you mention any important museum in Berlin, Germany, I remember. The Picasso Museum, I remember. Okay?
I mean specific the period.
Exactly.
The picture Picasso, example, a specific
Yes.
time.
Yes, the problem is I remember the experiences. I remember seeing the paintings. Everything is in my memory, but I don't remember the time. So if I don't remember the time of the action, it is not possible to me to say, for example, oh, I visited for example, Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. I visited, simple past. Because when I use the simple past, the time must be connected. Understand? So, for example, I went to the Van Gogh's museum 2 months ago. That's perfect. That's perfect. Understand? Because I
Present
mentioned,
perfect.
no, simple past. I went.
I went. Ah, yeah. Sorry.
I went to the Van Gogh Museum 2 months ago. I mentioned the action, going to the Van Gogh's museum, and the time of the action, 2 months ago. So this is perfect. The problem is, it's very difficult to remember action and time of the action. I don't know, maybe if you are young, you can remember. Erica, can you always remember, for example, the time you read a book or the time you saw a movie, or you only remember the book or the movie?
Usually I remember the book or the movie.
Yes, you see, that happens a lot. Sometimes I start watching a movie at Amazon Prime or even Netflix, and it's very interesting. I watch the movie for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and then I say, oh, I've seen this movie. I remember after like almost 1 hour sometimes because of one particular scene. I remember the movie, but my memory had already failed me. Understand? So we can only use the simple past if you remember both action and time. You see, remember to use it only when you remember the time of the action. If you don't mention the time or you don't remember, don't use simple past. Because if you tell me, oh, I went to New York, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, really? When? And then you say, I don't remember. So your sentence was not correct. Understand? This is not the keys of using the simple past. Understand what I'm saying or no?
Yes.
Present perfect. We
Be the correct.
we say particularly time.
No.
No,
The simple past requires
past particularly time.
Yes. Present perfect is for me, for you, when we don't remember the time.
Yeah.
We remember the action, we remember the experience, but not the time.
Yeah. Present perfect.
Okay? Present perfect. That's what we are going to study and compare today. And why Brazilians don't use present perfect? Because they think in Portuguese. When you see a sentence in the present perfect, for example, I'm going to write here for you. I have been to the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Okay? What is the problem? Brazilians think, eu já tive no Metropolitan em Nova York. Eu já tive.
Eu já fui, é um monte de coisa que fala.
Yes, but that's the problem. When you see the sentence, you listen, I have been to the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Your mind automatically translates, eu tenho estado no Metropolitan. And the problem is this, there is no translation. You don't translate have. So you never, if you only think about in Portuguese, you will never use the present perfect Because in Portuguese, we never say, eu tenho experimentado, eu tenho visto, eu tenho comido, tenho bebido, ou tenho beijado. We don't use that. And that's the problem. So my suggestion is, what would you like to say? Eu tive no Metropolitan o mês passado. That's simple past. I was at the Metropolitan last month. Eu já estive no Metropolitan. Eu já vi esse filme. Eu já li esse livro. This is the present perfect. Even if I don't say I have already.
What's the difference? I have been, I visit in the past.
Yes, that's exactly the difference, Ronaldo. When you say I visited, I could say here, I have already visited. It's the same, okay? And if you say, for example, like you said, I visited the metropolitan. I had to
Whoops.
Metropolitan. I had to use a shorter name. Museum. Yes, I thought of a very long name for a museum. Metropolitan
Museum.
Yes. York last month. You see? Compare the two sentences, please. In the second one, both are grammatically perfect. But in the first one, I have already visited the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Where is the time reference? There is no time reference. It's one day in my life. It's not important when. Understand? In the second case, I visited the Metropolitan Museum in New York. I need the time last month. If I stop the sentence here, I visit the Metropolitan Museum in New York, and I stop here. The first question an American is going to ask you is, really?
When?
Exactly. Really? When?
When.
And then, if you remember, no
I
problem.
visited, it is necessary the time, né?
Yes, exactly. If you don't mention the time, I understand that you remember the time, and then I'm going to ask you. Understand? And then you say, I don't remember. So you were not correct. In this first case here, for example, I have visited the Metropolitan Museum in New York. A person could say, really? Did you like it? But he would never ask you when, because you are already saying you don't remember the time. The time is not important. Understand what I'm trying to explain?
Where it all have been, or have been.
Yes. In English, Ronaldo, it's more common to say I've already been or I've been. It's more common to the Metropolitan. Eu já estive. Okay? It's more common than já visitei. But you can say it's the same. But it's more common to say I've been. Okay, girls, understand what I'm trying to explain here or no?
Yes, teacher.
Erica, Marcela, Sheila, understand this? It's very important that you understand. Please, just say hello, yes, I understand, or no, I don't understand.
Oh, I understand.
Okay, how about you, Victoria? Sheila is not here anymore. Okay.
I have been to Metropolitan Museum in New York. In front of you, the Central Park.
Yes. It's exactly in the Central Park. Okay. Yes. Victoria, understand this or no?
Yes.
Good. Very good. Marcela, you're so quiet. Understand this, Marcela?
Teacher,
Yes.
desculpa, eu tive que atender uma ligação aqui no trabalho, aí eu não estou participando da aula. Tô resolvendo um problema aqui.
Please try to come back. This is a very important class, okay?
Tá bom.
Okay, see ya. So, okay, let's continue here. So, imagine, for example, Ronaldo and I are having a beer when it's possible to go to a bar to have a beer, okay? And then a beautiful girl walks in, okay? And then Ronaldo says, that's a beautiful girl. When I look, I remember the girl, and I remember having a date with the girl.
Not the bar. I remember the girl.
The girl, they know. And then I can say, for example, I know her. I've kissed her. Okay?
Okay.
You will never ask me when. Never. Because I use the present perfect. Understand? So it means the time is not important. I don't remember the time, or I don't want to talk about it. Understand? So you can oh, teacher. Was she nice? Yeah, she was nice. She was nice. But I will never mention the time. This is what you need to remember. Okay? So let's continue here. We have already seen that there are two types of verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. The regular verbs, they form the past tense by simply adding D, ED, or IED. Okay? And the irregular, unfortunately, you have to memorize. So how can we create a sentence? How can we just elaborate a sentence using simple past? We need a subject, always, I, you, he, she, it. Then we use the verb in the simple past. It's the same for all the subjects. There is no difference like in the present. In the present, you say, I go, you go, he goes, she goes, it goes, we go, you go, and they go. In the past is I went, you went, he went, she went, it went, we went, you went, they went. You see, it's very simple. There is no difference. You use the same construction for all the subjects, okay?
Okay.
And then, of course, if you want to use a complement. Now, here there are some examples. Well, the simple past should also be used to talk about an action that started in the past and finished in the past. So when you use the simple past, you start and finish the action in the past. Like, she was married for 7 years. Is she married?
No.
No. That's what you need to understand. So, for example, after 7 years, she separated. Oops. Separated or divorced. Okay? She's not married anymore. I had that car for 3 years. Do I have the car at this moment?
No, I said.
No, that's it. After 3 years, I sold it and bought a new one. I lived in the USA for many years. Do I live in the USA?
No.
No. You see, every time I use the simple past, now I, okay, I don't live anymore. Okay, this you have to be, it has to be very clear in your mind. When you use the simple past, the action is started and finished in the past, has no relation with the present. Understand? Or, as I told you, you use this like, I saw this movie last night. Definite time, no? Action and time. I went to New York in 2016. Action and time. Oh, I read that book when I was a child. Action and time. Paul lived in the USA for 10 years. He doesn't live anymore. Understand? I went out with that girl for many years. I don't go out with her anymore. All right? Understand all the examples here, or is there any question about this?
No question.
Ronaldo, no problem.
No problem.
Okay. Victoria, any problem or no?
No.
Okay. Marcela may be working. Mario, I don't know if he has any question. So remember, simple past is extremely easy. You just need a subject. I studied last night and a time expression. If you want to make a negative, it's always necessary to use didn't. And after didn't, you use the verb in the base form because didn't already gives the idea that it's past. So I didn't study. He didn't study yesterday. And if you want to ask a question, just place did they study last week. Okay? You see, note, the verb in the past is only used in the affirmative. In negative and questions after did, we use the verb in the base form. We don't use the verb in the past. Is that okay? Can I go to the next page, or is there any problem about this?
Go on.
Any problem?
No problem.
No.
Okay. So another big difficulty for Brazilians is to pronounce the past tense of the regular verbs. Okay. So the ed, we have already studied this. I'm just reviewing. That's why I'm going to try to make it fast. The ed has three different sounds. I pronounce it ed only when the verb ends in final T and D sound. Like I need. You see the final sound? D. I need. So in this case, I add the ed and I say I needed. Oh, needed. The ed is pronounced just like a separate syllable. Okay, I needed. She wanted some help. It started to rain. This is the only case you pronounce the ed. The ed is pronounced like a T, T as in table, after voiceless sounds like P, K, S, SH, even CH, or if you want, X, okay? After all the verbs that end with these words, I'm not going to pronounce ed. I'm going to pronounce only T, like he asked me a question. So you write, of course, you write ask it, but you pronounce, okay? Asked. Like here, I stopped. You see, I write with P-E-D. I stopped. But I pronounce simply I stopped. They pushed the shopping cart. I pronounce like they pushed. Understand this or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I stopped going there.
Yes.
Past continue.
No, Ronaldo.
Going,
No.
Stopped
No, no.
past.
No.
Going, the continue.
After the verb to stop, we only use verbs in the ing. Okay? I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking. I stopped going out. I stopped traveling. Understand? We don't say I stopped to go. No, this is a different sense. Okay?
Okay.
There are verbs in English. It's the case, for example, they need. Okay, for example, here, I need to study more. Need asks for a verb in infinitive. Always, I need to study. Want is the same. She wanted to start her program soon. It started to rain. Okay, but here it's also possible to say it started raining. Okay, both are correct. Both are correct.
Or
Okay.
Or ing or to.
Yes, but this is because yes, this is just the verb start so far. Okay, but the verb stop, no. If you say I stopped to go, it's a different construction, is a different meaning. Okay. Now, if it's not number one, if it's not in number two, like verbs with P, K, S, SH, CH, or X, then all the other verbs in English, they only have a D sound. You see, we don't say, for example, what happened? This is terrible English. Okay? Or she filled, or she called me. No, all the other verbs, I pronounce only D. So what happened? Happened. Okay? She filled. He named. Okay? Like if you remember that classical song by Stevie Wonder, he used to say, I just called to say I love you. Do you remember the song?
I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big hour.
Erica probably is going to say, no, I don't remember, teacher. Okay? Because she's
I
young.
remember, teacher.
Oh, you remember? Ah, I thought this was an oldie. Okay? So, do you remember him singing? He used to say, I just called or I just called.
Called.
Yes. Okay. Because he speaks perfect English. He's a native speaker. A Brazilian say, she called me last night. What happened to you? This is terrible in English. Okay. You don't imagine how bad it is. Okay. So, with all the other verbs, if it's not number one, if it's not number two, you pronounce only D. Like you don't say, I stayed in a hotel. No, this is bad English. I stayed. Stayed. Okay? I write like this, but I pronounce only stayed. Okay? I don't say stayed. I don't say it happen. It's N. It's here. I don't say happened. No, this is terrible. What happened? Okay? All right?
All right.
So, here. Based on this, let's see if you can just tell me, like in the first case, I'm going to pronounce the verb in the present. And then you tell me if the final sound is ED, D, or T. Okay? Like fix. What's the final sound?
Fixed.
Fixed.
Yes. What Ronaldo pronounced correctly?
T.
Fixed.
I fixed. Okay? The second, happen. What's the final sound?
D.
D, only D.
Happened.
Yes. What happened?
Happened.
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 Rest. What's the final sound?
D.
D? No.
No?
No. Oh, rest. Rest.
Because the T,
Yes.
double T.
Oh, no, because of the T sound. So the final sound is ED. I
ED.
rested. Rested.
West.
Okay? Add. What's the past tense?
Add. Add.
T.
ED, D or T?
ED.
T. E.
No,
Added.
Erica.
ED.
Erica, pay attention.
Oh,
After
sorry.
D and T, you pronounce ED. Added.
ED.
Added. Like a separate syllable. Added. Rested. Okay? Like.
Okay.
Like. What's the
Like.
final sound?
Like D.
No.
T.
T.
It is T. Oh, like. The final sound is K. So I say like. Like.
Like.
Now,
Like.
dress. Oh, final sound. Dress.
Dresses.
What's the sound?
Dresses. Dressed. D.
No.
No, dressed. Dressed. No, dressed.
No. No.
Dressed. Go. Go.
ED, D or T?
Dressed. Dressed. ED.
No. No. ED. Oh,
Dressed.
ED is only after T or D sound. Only. So dress. Dress. The sound is S. The final sound is S. So I pronounce T.
Dressed.
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 Dressed. There is also a very good movie. The name is Dressed to Kill. Okay? Dressed to Kill. Not dressed. No. Dressed. Dressed to Kill. I missed. Okay? Like, I'm sorry. I missed the class yesterday because of my internet. Okay?
Yeah.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
ED, D or T?
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Enjoyed.
Enjoy
D.
it.
It's only
D.
D. Oh, you don't say I enjoyed. No, I enjoyed. Understand?
Enjoy it.
Played. Oh, stayed. Enjoyed. It's the same case. Played. I played basketball last night. Okay? Now, the verb to rent. Rent. Is it
Rent.
ED, D, or T? Rent.
T.
Oh,
Went. T.
oh, Ronaldo. Remember here, what is the final sound of the verb?
T.
T. So I have to pronounce ED. Okay? I rented.
Went.
Okay?
Uh,
Now, face. Oh, face. What's the final sound?
T.
Only D.
facing.
Face. Okay, face.
Face.
Okay? And the last one. Ah, no, that was the last one. Okay. Now, let's go to the important part. Oh, present perfect. Please, I need you to pay attention very carefully here. Ronaldo, can you read this introduction for us, please? When to use?
It's primarily used.
Primarily
It's primarily used to describe complete action that happened at some
indefinite
indefinite or not important time in the past. I shouldn't mention the time in this
in this kind of sentence.
kind of sentence. It can be a single or repeat an action.
Action. Yes.
Action.
This is another very interesting thing. The simple, or as the name says, simple past. It's used to describe a simple action or one action. Now, if you say 3 times, for example, oh, I saw this movie 3 times, that's not correct. Because I saw is one action. I saw this movie last night. That's okay. But if you want to say it was a repeated action, like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, or more times, you have to say, I've seen this movie 3 times. Okay? We use the present perfect. And again, you can never think, eu tenho assistido. Please, this is the problem. This is why Brazilians don't use the correct tense. They think in Portuguese. So if you are like this, if you organize your ideas in Portuguese in your mind before saying it in English, just think like this. What do I want to say? Again, eu vi esse filme ontem, a semana passada, ou já vi esse filme? If what you want to say is já vi, it's present perfect. Even if you don't use already, which means já. Okay? So we have to use have as an auxiliary verb or has for he, she, and it. So I have, you have, he, she, it has. And the others in the plural, we, you, and they have. And then we also need to use another verb in the past participle. And then if you want the complement. So what is the past participle? Well, when you see a list of verbs, I will show you here.
The third column.
You'll have, yes, it's the third column. Present, work, past, worked, past participle, worked. If the verb is regular, the past participle is similar. Live, lived, lived. Love, loved, loved. Okay? Like, liked, liked. If the verb is irregular, then you need to memorize another tense. Oh, go, went, gone. Be in the past was or were in the past participle, been. And cut is completely irregular. So we say cut, cut, cut. Do, did, done. You see? So this, of course, was just to exemplify. It's not a complete list, okay? But let's go back there. Oh, Erica, can you read the first example for me, please?
I have seen this movie 3 times.
Okay.
I have been here before. She hasn't finished her homework yet.
Okay. So all of them, observe, there is no time reference. Oh, I've seen this movie 3 times. It's in my life. It's possible to be from the day I was born until yesterday. 3 times. Okay? Oh, I've been here before. It's a classical sentence, like, já tive aqui antes. You remember the place, you remember the environment, but you don't remember the time. Then you say, I've been here before. She hasn't finished her homework yet. That means up to this moment, she has not finished. Okay?
Okay.
Victoria, can you read the 2.2 for us, please?
It is also used to talk about actions that start in the past and are still going on in the present. In this case, we usually introduce the duration of the action by since, plus the point in time when the action started, or for plus the
Duration.
duration of the action.
Excellent, Victoria. Very good. So pay attention here. Compare the examples I gave you here, in the simple past. For example, Paul lived in the USA for 10 years. That's simple past. That means he doesn't live anymore. Understand? If I say, for example, Paul has lived in the USA for 10 years. By using the contraction Paul's, or only this, the idea is completely different. Here it means he still lives there. Understand? Like, Ronaldo, you are from San Jose, okay?
Okay.
Were you born in San Jose or no?
No.
No. Where were you born?
I
was born.
I was born in Penápolis.
Okay, Penápolis, good. And how long have you lived in San Jose?
I lived.
I've lived.
I lived
in San Jose.
16 years.
For 6 years.
16.
16.
16
Yeah.
years.
16 years. I understood 60 years. A long time. Or you could say since 2004. Okay?
Nice. Okay.
Making a very fast calculation here. When I use for...
Don't use for. Não use for, né?
No, I can use since 2004. When I use since, I use the time when it started. Yeah. Or I use the for plus the duration. For 16 years. Or since 2004.
Okay.
So this is the case here. I have studied English for 3 months. Okay? That means I started and I continue to study. I have studied English since March. I started in March and I still continue. I have been married for 35 years. And I am still married. I don't have a ring, but I am married. Understand this? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've seen this movie 3 times. Then I write here 3 times, Robert. 3 times. Okay? Any question about this?
No.
Okay. Please, I implore you, I beg you to study what we talked about today. If you can really understand this, your English goes from the basic level to the intermediate level, because present perfect is not for basic students, okay? So I'm already anticipating a very important structure for you, just to help you improve your English, okay?
Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
você vai postar essa aula no YouTube?
Yes.
Tá bom, que eu vou pegar.
Okay. After we finish, usually they upload everything to YouTube, okay?
Okay,
But
thank you.
get the material and study. Tomorrow we will continue this. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Sorry about yesterday, and I see you tomorrow at the same time, all right? Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.